Hello and welcome to another video. In this tutorial, we're going to be learning on how to create a simple logo using Adobe Illustrator. So without further ado, let's now create a new project. Select Art and Illustration. Select any of these presets here. Change the measurement to pixels. And let's do 1080 by 1080 pixels. So the standard Instagram size. Leave all the settings as is and hit create. Once you're done, you should have a new project, and before we start to create our actual logo, we need to define the color palettes for this project. So the color codes have already been shown on screen right now, and let's now use the rectangle tool by hitting M on your keyboard, or alternatively you can click on the rectangle tool over here, and let's create a square somewhere on the side here by holding shift to create a square. And once you're done, go back to the selection tool by hitting V on your keyboard, and let's now change the color by selecting the color picker tool over here. So double click to open up the color picker, and let's now copy and paste the colors over here. So that's the first color. Once you're done, let's duplicate this shape, holding Alt on your keyboard, click and drag to copy or duplicate, and let's place it somewhere over there. Let's double click on the color picker again, and let's copy and paste in the next color code. So copy and paste, hit OK, and you have your second color. And let's do this another 2 times for the background color. So hit Alt, click and drag to copy, and double click on the color picker, copy and paste your third color, and repeat the same process again. Double click, and let's copy this one, paste it over here. Now you should have all 4 colors, 2 for your logo and 2 for your background. Once you have that, let's lock the layer here so that you don't accidentally move or do anything with these colors here. Go to the layers panel over here and just select on this space over here to lock the layer. So once you click on it, the layer should be locked. Once you're done, let's create a new layer by hitting this button over here to create a new layer. Once you're done, let's go back to the rectangle tool, right click on the rectangle tool and select the line segment tool. Once you have the line segment tool selected, go to the control panel up here. If you cannot find it, go to window and make sure control is enabled, and you should have the control panel here. Let's remove the fill color by hitting the drop down here and select none for the fill color. Leave the stroke color as is and the stroke width at 1 point. Let's now create your first line that goes all the way down. You can hit shift on your keyboard to snap at an angle, and let's do all the way down like so. And once you're done, go back to the selection tool, hitting V on your keyboard. Let's duplicate this shape. So to duplicate, again, hold Alt on your keyboard, click and drag this line to duplicate it, and hold shift so that the position and orientation stays the same. Let's put it somewhere over here, not too far but not too near. And once you're done, let's copy this another 4 times by hitting Ctrl D. So Ctrl D will duplicate it again, and do that the same time another 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. So this will essentially duplicate your lines at an equal distance with the equal size and orientation and everything. So you should have 6 lines that are equally distanced, like so. Once you're done, click and drag over all 6 lines to select them. Okay, so just simply select all 6 lines. Once you're done, let's copy by hitting Ctrl C and paste in place by hitting Ctrl Shift V. Okay, not Ctrl B, but Ctrl Shift V. So this will essentially paste in place. And once you're done, let's rotate the duplicated lines by hovering your cursor at the edge of the selection until that arrow comes up. Just click and drag to rotate your duplicated lines. Hold shift on your keyboard and make sure to rotate it 90 degrees like so. So you should have this checkered box over here. And once you're done, you can just select everything by again clicking and dragging over all of the lines, and let's move it a little bit to the center here. So once you're done, let's now start building the fundamental shapes of the logo by using the Shape Builder tool. And to use the Shape Builder tool, First of all, you need to use the selection tool, V on your keyboard for the selection tool. Click and drag over all of the lines here. Make sure all of the lines are selected and hit Shift M for the shape builder tool. Okay, Shift M for the shape builder tool. Alternatively, you can also click the shape builder tool over here. Once selected, if you hover your mouse on these tiny boxes over here, you'll see that it will be shaded. This means that the shape builder tool has already been activated. Alright, so you can use the shape builder tool to combine multiple different shapes into one single shape. So to do this, let's first click and drag over 6 boxes in this manner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So click and drag over 6 boxes in this manner and let go of your mouse. That creates your first shape. Once you're done, let's do the second shape by again doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 boxes in this manner. So click and drag over all 6 boxes. Let go of your mouse and that creates the second shape. And you can do the third shape by again clicking and holding over 6 boxes in this manner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's do the last one by again clicking and holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let go of your mouse. So you should have 4 different shapes at the end of the day. And once you're done, let's go back to the selection tool by holding V on your keyboard. Okay, pressing V on your keyboard will go back to the selection tool. And let's clean up this logo a little bit. We don't need these extra lines at the sides here. What you can do now is to just delete them. So click and drag over these lines here and hit delete to just simply delete them. Click and drag over these, delete, click and drag over these, delete, and again these, delete. Okay, so you should have the basic fundamental shape for your logo. Let's now apply some colors to the logo, some temporary colors. So let's select the first shape over here, go to the control panel, and let's just apply a random color to it. So that color. Okay, let's do for the second shape over here. Let's apply the second color and the third color on the third shape here. Let's do this. And the final color over here, let's do orange. Alright, so these are temporary colors just to make it easy for you to see. And once you're done, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to round off the corners for these shapes over here. So to do so, click and drag over all of the shapes here to select them. Hit A on your keyboard to go to the direct selection tool. You can also click on this icon here for the direct selection tool. And once you're done, we're going to select each of these circular points to round them off. So let's select the first point by simply just clicking on the point. Make sure it is highlighted. And then shift select this point over here. Shift select this one over here. And shift select this one over here. So at the end of the day, you should have 4 circular points that are highlighted. And once you're done, simply click and drag to simply round them off. Okay, you can make it as round as you want, but I'm just going to do something like that. So that part is already done. Okay, once you're done, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this shape here. Essentially, we're going to just duplicate the entire logo here. So click and drag over all of this. Okay, make sure everything is selected. You can use the direct selection tool or the regular selection tool. And copy. Let's paste in place by hitting Ctrl Shift V. Okay, once everything has been duplicated, what we can do now is to just click and drag over everything. Make sure everything is highlighted. Let's select this point over here and this point over here by shift selecting. Shift select this point over here and shift select this point over here. Okay, so once all 4 points have been selected, simply round them off to create this curved effect for your logo. Alright, once you're done, let's select everything, including the layers at the bottom or behind the actual logo by clicking and dragging over everything. And once you're done, what I want you to do now is to go back to the shape builder tool. So Shift M to go back to the shape builder tool. and let's combine these shapes together. So I want you to just combine the shape of different colors together. So this one goes with this one over here. This one goes with this one. This one goes with this one. And finally, this one goes with this one. So click and drag to combine them together, and at the end of the day, you should have 4 different shapes. Okay, instead of the original 8 shapes, you should have just 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you're done, we're almost done here. So go back to the selection tool by hitting V, and once you are here, we're going to now apply some colors to the logo here. So with the selection tool, make sure to select everything over here, and let's first go to the control panel up here and disable the stroke color. So drop down on the stroke and hit none. That removes the stroke color because we don't really need the stroke color right now. And again, select everything, make sure everything is selected, and let's apply a gradient. So to apply a gradient, you should have the gradient panel open over here. If you cannot find the gradient panel, go to window and make sure gradient is checked. Alternatively, you can also use Ctrl F9 to enable the gradient panel. And once it's enabled with these selected, click on this box to activate the gradient, and you should have something that looks like this. Let's now change the color of the gradient by firstly clicking on this circular point on the gradient slider here and selecting the color picker tool over here, and let's pick the first color, this blue color here, and then let's select the next circular point here on the black one and hit the color picker tool again. Do it for the second color. So you should have a color that goes from light blue to a darker blue, so as the colors that we have been defined over here. And once you're done, go back to the selection tool by hitting V on your keyboard, and once you're done, the colors are already coming together, except it doesn't really look quite right because the colors are going continuously from light blue over here and it ends all the way down here on the second shape. We don't want that, so we need to do something that's called reversing gradients. So we can reverse the gradients by firstly clicking on this shape over here, okay, the third shape over here, the one at the bottom right. And once you have clicked on just this shape over here, go back to the gradient panel and find the reverse gradient button here. So by just clicking on this button, it reverses the gradient. You'll see that the effect is actually coming together. And let's now change this one over here because it kind of looks weird. So the one at the bottom left corner, click on the shape and again hit the button to reverse the gradient. So once you have selected that, everything should already be in place. The next thing we're going to do is we're just going to center this logo at the center of the artboard. So select everything by clicking and dragging, and let's group them together by hitting Ctrl G. Ctrl G will group these objects together, and let's open up the align panel by going to window and hit align or shift F7. And once you have the align panel, let's align to the artboard. Make sure this is selected. Horizontal align center, vertical align center. And we are almost done. Your logo is already centered in the artboard. Let's now create the last thing, which is the background. So to create the background, you need to use the rectangle tool. Again, you can right click at the line tool here and select the rectangle tool, or alternatively, you can just hit M on your keyboard and that brings up the rectangle tool. And once you're done, let's create a rectangle, a square that goes all the way across the artboard. Make sure it covers everything and there's no empty spaces. And once you're done, this is your background layer, except we can also change the color the same way we did with the gradient panel. So with this selected, now let's select the first circular point on the gradient slider here. Color picker tool, let's select the first color for the background, the second circular point here, and select the second color or the darker color for the background. Once you're done, again, go back to the selection tool by hitting V, and let's arrange this so that the background is at the back and your logo is in front, so we can see everything clearly. So open up the layers panel here under layer 2 or whatever layer that you have your background and your logo. Open the drop down and just click and drag your background layer so that it sits below your logo layer. And once you're done, everything should look like this, and we are done. So that is how you can create a logo using Adobe Illustrator. You can also use the same exact technique to design multiple different shapes and logos. Have a look at the example videos on the top right corner. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has proven to be helpful for you, and I'll see you in the next video.